The verdict, the chamber of eternal voices. The council chamber hung in the void between stars, a structure so ancient its builders had long since transcended physical form. 12 podiums circled the central holographic display, each bearing a representative of the galaxy's elder races. High Arbiter Velshan of the Crethi Ascendancy called the session to order with a gesture of his crystalline appendages. The sound resonated through the chamber like wind chimes carved from frozen starlight. We gather to witness the final chapter of Species 7749, Velshan intoned, his translator rendering the words in perfect, emotionless clarity. Designation humanity. Total time from first radio signals to extinction, 217 orbital cycles. A murmur rippled through the assembly. 2 centuries was remarkably short, even by the standards of doomed species. The Dominion horde has entered their system, reported Ambassador Thex, her chitinous form clicking with barely suppressed satisfaction. The insectoid Zarn had lost 3 colony worlds to humanity's aggressive expansion, though the Council's own records showed those worlds had fired first. 17,000 warships. The human homeworld possesses, 400 defensive platforms? 372, corrected chronicler Mhur, the amphibious historian who recorded every species' final moments. And only 16 capital ships, all outdated by at least 40 standard years. The holographic display flickered to life, showing Earth in real time. A blue-green marble wrapped in a glittering shell of satellites, stations, and what the humans quaintly called space junk. Beyond it, like a storm of locusts, the Dominion fleet began its deceleration burn. They've made no attempt to evacuate, observed Senator Krill, their form undulating with curiosity within its containment sphere. Interesting. Foolish, Ambassador Thex corrected. They could have saved millions by fleeing to their outer colonies. Perhaps, High Arbiter Velshan said, his tone suggesting he'd seen too many last stands to find this one noteworthy. Begin recording. Let the archives remember Species 7749 died as they lived, irrationally stubborn. 30 minutes before impact, Captain Sarah Chen stood on the bridge of the Defiance, humanity's flagship, a title that sounded more impressive than the ship deserved. She was cobbled together from 3 decommissioned cruisers, held together with what the engineers called aggressive optimism and spite. Fleet status, she commanded. All 16 capital ships reporting ready, her XO replied. The civilian auxiliaries have finished their modifications. Sarah allowed herself a grim smile at the hesitation. Modifications was a generous term for what humanity had done to every functional spacecraft in the system. Mining ships now bristled with jury-rigged railguns. Colony transports had been hollowed out and packed with drone fighters. Even the Luna cruise liner Serenity had been weaponized, its luxury suites replaced with missile batteries. What about Project Junkyard? Online. Every piece of orbital debris larger than a basketball now has maneuvering thrusters and a transponder. Admiral Okoye says we've turned our garbage problem into a tactical advantage. The main screen showed the Dominion fleet, spreading into attack formation. A perfectly executed textbook maneuver that every species in the galaxy would recognize. They were positioning for orbital bombardment, probably planning to shatter Earth's defense grid before the ground assault began. They'd done this 47 times before. 47 worlds had burned. Captain, we're receiving a transmission from the Dominion flagship. They're offering terms. Put it through. The alien that appeared on screen was massive, its segmented armor gleaming like polished obsidian. When it spoke, the translator struggled with the underlying contempt. Humans, you face the Dominion horde undefeated in conquest. Surrender your world, and we will grant your species the honor of survival as servants. Resist, and we will erase you from existence so thoroughly that the galaxy will forget you ever existed. Sarah Chen looked at that alien face and thought about her daughter, playing in the gardens of New Seattle. She thought about her mother's recipes, humanity's music, every stupid argument about sports teams, and every act of breathtaking kindness she'd ever witnessed. This is Captain Sarah Chen of the United Earth Defense Force. I have a counteroffer. The alien tilted its head. Curious. Come and take it. She cut the transmission. For 3 heartbeats, her bridge crew was silent. Then someone started clapping. It spread until the whole bridge was applauding, some laughing, others crying, but all of them alive in a way they'd never been before. All ships, Sarah commanded. Implement protocol Rabid Dog. Her XO blinked. Captain, that's not a real protocol. It is now. Pass the word. No formation flying, no predictable patterns, no rules. Every captain fights their ship their way. Make them think we're insane. We might actually be insane, Captain. Sarah grinned, and it was not a kind expression. Good. Let's show them what crazy looks like. The first strike. The Dominion fleet opened fire. 2,000 plasma lances stabbed through space toward Earth's orbital platforms. The Council Chamber's holographic display tracked each shot with clinical precision. This was always the decisive moment, when the defenders' shields collapsed under overwhelming firepower. But something strange happened. Just before impact, Earth's orbital cloud moved. Thousands of pieces of debris, dead satellites, spent rocket stages, even what appeared to be a decommissioned nuclear reactor, suddenly fired positioning thrusters. They scattered like a flock of birds, creating gaps in the Dominion firing pattern. 300 shots missed completely. What? Ambassador Thex leaned forward. Did they just use garbage as decoys? The remaining plasma bolts slammed into Earth's defense platforms, and the Council expected to see shields collapse, armor vaporize, the standard death spiral of an outmatched defense grid. Instead, the platforms spun. They rotated on their axes at the last instant, presenting angled armor that deflected the plasma bolts away from Earth, not into space, into each other. 7 Dominion ships suddenly found themselves in the path of their own redirected fire. Impossible, Chronicler Murr whispered. The timing required to coordinate that defense would require quantum-level computational power. Their technology level doesn't... They're not using computation, interrupted Senator Krill, their entire form rippling with something that might have been excitement. Look at the response times. That's too fast for even military AI. They're doing it manually. The holographic display zoomed in on one of the human ships, the Defiance. Its bridge was visible through the cameras the Dominion used for intimidation. A human female was shouting orders while dozens of crew members operated individual stations, their hands flying across controls. No central AI, no unified tactical system, just humans, reacting. They're insane, High Arbiter Velshan said quietly. No species fights like this. On screen, the human fleet began to move, but they didn't move like a fleet. They moved like a brawl. The verdict continued. The dance begins. The Defiance broke formation first. If you could call humanity's loose cluster a formation. Captain Chen angled her ship directly at the Dominion line, her engines burning at 110% capacity. Captain, at this trajectory will be in their optimal firing range in 40 seconds, her XO warned. 38 seconds, Sarah corrected, watching her tactical display. Jenkins, how's our shopping cart holding up? In the Defiance's cargo bay, what had once been a civilian container hauler was now filled with 3,000 tons of refined titanium ore, mining yields from the belt that were supposed to be processed next month. Mag clamps holding. Though Chief Ramirez says this is the dumbest thing he's ever seen. Tell the Chief he's absolutely right. Release on my mark. The Dominion fleet adjusted, targeting solutions locking onto the Defiance. In the Council Chamber, Ambassador Thex clicked with satisfaction. Finally, some sense. They're focusing fire on the flagship. 30 seconds and the human command structure collapses. But High Arbiter Velshan was watching something else. The other human ships, they're not moving to support. He was right. While the Defiance charged forward, the rest of humanity's fleet scattered in seemingly random directions. The mining vessel Rusty Fortune dove toward the ecliptic plane. The carrier Indomitable executed a barrel roll that would have torn apart any military vessel designed with proper structural integrity in mind. 3 destroyers formed a triangle and began spinning around each other like a 3-body problem gone mad. No coordination whatsoever, Chronicler Mhur noted for the record. This isn't a military force. It's an armed mob. On the Defiance, Sarah watched her countdown. Mark. The cargo bay doors opened. 3,000 tons of titanium ore erupted into space, propelled by explosive decompression charges. The chunks scattered in an expanding cloud directly in the path of the Dominion's targeting lasers. Metal vapor exploded as the lasers hit titanium. For 3 crucial seconds, the Dominion's targeting systems were blind. Sarah didn't waste them. All power to forward railguns. Fire. 6 tungsten slugs, each moving at 0.03% the speed of light, crossed the gap before the Dominion could adjust. They punched through the shields of a destroyer, through its armor, and out retry M continue Part 2, the dance of chaos when order meets madness. The tungsten slugs punched clean through the Dominion destroyer, the exit wounds blooming with atmosphere and flame. The ship listed, secondary explosions rippling along its spine. In the council chamber, 12 ancient species sat in stunned silence. First blood to the humans, Senator Krill observed, their containment sphere pulsing with colors that suggested confusion. Against the Dominion. That's unprecedented. A lucky shot, Ambassador Thex insisted, though her mandibles clicked nervously. One destroyer against 17,000 ships means nothing. But High Arbiter Velshan was watching the tactical display with narrowed eyes. The Dominion fleet was regrouping, recalculating. Their formations tightened, a standard response to an aggressive opponent. Bring ships closer together for mutual defense. Overlapping fields of fire, eliminate gaps that could be exploited. It was textbook perfect. It was also exactly what the humans wanted. The mining ship Gambit, Captain Rodriguez of the Rusty Fortune, had spent 30 years hauling ice from Europa to the shipyards of Mars. His ship wasn't fast, wasn't pretty, and definitely wasn't military. But it had one advantage: industrial-grade mining lasers designed to slice through kilometer-thick ice in seconds. Dominion formation is tightening, just like Commander Chen predicted, his first mate reported. Course locked. We're coming in on their dorsal approach vector, right through their debris field. Rodriguez grinned. The Dominion had obliterated dozens of human satellites in their opening salvo, creating a cloud of wreckage between their fleet and Earth. Military doctrine said to avoid debris. It fouled sensors, created navigation hazards, limited maneuverability. Human mining vessels lived in debris fields. Drop the nets. Full power to thrusters. The Rusty Fortune deployed electromagnetic netting, normally used to corral ice fragments, and dove into the wreckage cloud like a whale through krill. Broken satellites, shattered platforms, and vaporized hull plating caught in the nets, sticking to the ship's exterior. Within seconds, the mining vessel was invisible to conventional sensors, just another piece of tumbling debris. Dominion fleet in range. They still haven't spotted us. Why would they? Rodriguez replied. We look like garbage. Wait for it. The Rusty Fortune drifted through the Dominion formation's upper layer, passing between 2 battle cruisers that didn't even register its presence. Rodriguez counted down, watching his tactical display. Now, light them up. The mining lasers fired at point-blank range, not at armor or shields, but at something far more vulnerable: sensor arrays and communications dishes. The concentrated beams sliced through the unshielded equipment like a cutting torch through aluminum foil. Both Dominion battlecruisers went blind and deaf in the same instant. All power to engines. Get us out of here. The Rusty Fortune shed its debris coating and burned hard, escaping before the confused battlecruisers could even identify what had attacked them. Behind it, 2 of the Dominion's most powerful ships drifted in communications blackout, unable to coordinate with the fleet. In the council chamber, Chronicler Murr's appendages trembled as he recorded. They're not fighting like a military. They're fighting like pirates, scavengers, hunters. They're fighting like survivors, High Arbiter Velshan corrected quietly. The carrier's surprise. The Indomitable had been a colony transport once, designed to carry 10,000 civilians to Mars in relative comfort. Now its passenger decks were hollow shells filled with launch tubes, and Commander Liu stood in a bridge that still had the original "Welcome Aboard" mural painted on the wall. Dominion cruiser squadron targeting us, her tactical officer reported. 12 ships, attack pattern Zeta 7. They really love their patterns, don't they? Amused. How many drones do we have left? All 3,000. The techs mounted them on every available surface. The drones weren't military hardware. They were construction bots. Repair units, even a few hundred automated delivery drones from the civilian logistics network. But each one now carried a small explosive charge and a simple AI with one instruction: hit something important. Launch pattern? Let's call it absolute chaos. That's not a real pattern, Commander. Sure it is. Launch half the drones in random directions. Max thrust random course changes. Make it look like our systems are malfunctioning. The launch tubes opened. 1,500 drones erupted into space, their trajectories scattered across every vector imaginable. Some flew straight, others spiraled, a few actually collided with each other. It looked like a catastrophic systems failure. The Dominion cruisers held formation, tracking what appeared to be the most direct threats while their point defense systems methodically picked off the obviously malfunctioning drones. "They're taking the bait," Liu said. "Launch the second wave. Direct assault pattern. No randomization." The remaining 1,500 drones launched in perfect military formation, driving straight at the Dominion cruisers in a tight, organized wave. The Dominion's defensive AI did what it was programmed to do. It prioritized the organized threat over the scattered chaos. Every point defense turret swiveled to engage the second wave, detonating first wave in 3, 2, 1. The malfunctioning drones that the Dominion had ignored, the ones that had drifted seemingly helplessly through their formation, all exploded simultaneously. They weren't targeting ships. They were targeting the point defense turrets themselves. In the span of 5 seconds, the Dominion cruiser squadron lost 70% of its defensive capability. "Second wave," Liu ordered calmly. "Target their engines." The organized drone formation broke apart into 1,500 individual attackers, each selecting a different target with the stubborn persistence of construction bots programmed to complete a task. They swarmed the defenseless cruisers like angry wasps. Multiple engine kills confirmed. The squadron is dead in space. Commander Liu allowed herself a small smile. "Helm, take us toward the next formation. I believe we have 2,700 drones left. Let's see how creative we can get." The Council's Realization High Arbiter Velshan stood from his podium, something no arbiter had done in living memory. His crystalline form refracted the light from the holographic display as he leaned forward, trying to comprehend what he was witnessing. The Dominion horde, undefeated in 47 campaigns, was being systematically dismantled. Not through superior firepower, not through advanced technology, through confusion. Every human ship fought differently. Mining vessels became stealth attackers. Carriers deployed weaponized civilian drones. Destroyers used debris as camouflage. The flagship had just ejected its entire cargo of refined ore to create a smokescreen. There was no pattern to predict, no doctrine to counter, no formation to break. It was chaos given form and purpose. "Chronicler Moore," Velshan said quietly, "in your 10,000 years of recording the deaths of species, have you ever seen anything like this?" The amphibious historian was silent for a long moment, his multiple eyes fixed on the display where a human cruiser was using a destroyed Dominion battleship as a shield, pushing the wreckage ahead of it like a battering ram. "No, High Arbiter, never. Most species fight to win. These humans..." Maher's voice carried something that might have been awe. "They fight like they've already lost everything and have nothing left to fear. Every ship is independent, yet they support each other. Every captain is improvising, yet they work in perfect coordination. It's as if what? As if warfare for them is not a science. It's an art, and every human is an artist with their own style." On screen, the Defiance completed another impossible maneuver, rolling sideways while firing all weapons, its captain visible through the Dominion's own surveillance feed, a human female with the expression of fierce joy on her face. She was smiling. Ambassador Thex's voice cracked as she spoke. "They're enjoying this. They're outmatched 17,000 to 16, they should be terrified, and that human is smiling." Senator Krill's containment sphere pulsed with rapid color changes. "Perhaps we've made a grave error." "What error?" Velshan asked, though he suspected he knew the answer. "We assumed that because they were young, they were weak. Because their technology was primitive, they were inferior. Because they had no unified military doctrine, they would be easily defeated." Krill's form shuddered. "We never considered that maybe, just maybe, they don't fight like us because they've evolved a completely different approach to warfare. One that our predictable, pattern-based strategies have no defense against." On the holographic display, the human fleet continued its chaotic dance through the Dominion formation. What had seemed like a massacre in waiting had become something else entirely. It had become a hunt. And humanity, it turned out, knew how to hunt.